Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Haribol Gaur Premanande Jayam Vishnupad Paramamsa Parirajakarya Stotra Shata Srimad Divine Grace Abhay Charavindesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramamsa Parirajakarya Stotra Shata Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Itai Gaur Premanande All glories assembled devotees All glories assembled devotees all glories, Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nastaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, Maharaj Nimi meets 9 Yogendras. Text 15. Priyavrato nama suto mano swayambhuvasya yaha tasya granthashtato nabhir ऋषभस्तथा सुता स्मृता प्रियव्रतो नाम सुतो मनो स्वयंभुवस्य स्यः तस्य ग्रन्थस्ततो नभिर्ऋषभस्ततः सुता स्मृता प्रियव्रतो नाम सुतो मनो स्वयंभुवस्य स्यः तस्य ग्रन्थस्ततो नभिर्ऋषभस्ततः सुता स्मृतः. Please chant. Priyavrata nama suto tato nayambhuvasya ya tasya granthistato nabhi ऋषभस्य तथा स्मृता प्रियव्रतो नाम सुतो मनो स्वयंभुवस्यता तस्यादेकततो तस्या व्रता सुता व्रता प्रियव्रतो नाम सुतो मनो स्वयंभुवस्य तस्या ग्रन्थिस्ततो ऋषभस्ततः सुता स्मृता. Anyone? Priyavrito nama suto mano swayambhuvasyata tasya driyasato nabhir ऋषभस्य सुता स्मृता. Priyavrita, Maharaj Priyavrita, Nama by name, Suta the son, Mano Swayambhavasya Swayambhava Manu, Yaha who, Tasya his, Agantarasa son was Angarada, Tatha from him, Angiradha, Nabhi King Nabhi, Rishabha Lord Rishabdev, Tata Sutta his son, Smritam is so remembered. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Swayambhuva Manu had a son named Maharaj Priyavrata, And among Priyavata's son was Angirada. From Angirada was born Navi, whose son was known as Rishabdeva. Purport: the geological background of the sons of Rishabdeva is given in this verse. Text 16. Sri Rishabdeva is accepted as an expansion of Supreme Lord Vasudeva. He incarnated in this world to propagate those religious principles that lead living entities to ultimate liberation. He had 100 sons, all perfected in Vedic knowledge. One of the one of the 100 sons of Lord Rishabdev, the eldest Bharata, was completely devoted to Lord Narayana. It is because of Bharata's fame that this planet is now celebrated as the Great Bharatvarsha. Text 18. King Bharata rejected this material world, considering all type of happiness of material pleasure temporary and useless. Leaving his beautiful young wife and family, he worshipped the Lord Hari by severe austerity and attained the abode of the Lord after 3 lifetimes. The complete narration of the three living life of Bharata as a king, as a deer, and as an exalted Paramahamsa devotee of the Lord is given in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 19. The 9 of the remaining sons of Rishabdev became the rulers of the 9 islands of Bharatvarsha, and they exercised complete sovereignty over this planet. 81 sons became twice born Brahmanas and helped intimate the Vedic path of fruitive sacrifice, Karma Kanda. The 9 Dvipas or island ruled by the 9 sons of Rishabdev are 9 Varshas of Jambudvipa, namely Bharata, Kinnara, Hari, Kuru, Harimana, Ramyaka, Irvashvata, Bharatavarsha, and Ketumala. Text 20 and 21. The 9 remaining sons of Rishabdeva are greatly fortunate sages who worked vigorously to spread the knowledge of the absolute truth. They wandered about naked and were very well versed in the scriptural science. Their names were Kavi, Havir, Antariksha, Pratubhasa, Pipalayana, Avirotha, Drumila, Shamsa, and Karanabhoja. Purport: Nimi, the king of Veda, asked the following 9 questions of 9 Yogendra, the saintly sons of Rishabha. First, what is the highest good? Chapter 2, Text 30. What are the religious principles, dharma, natural proclivities, svabhava, behavior, archa, speech, vakya, and outward symptoms, lakshana, of the Bhagavata, a Vaishnava of devotee of the Lord? 2.44. 3. What is the external energy of Vishnu, the Supreme Lord? 3.1. 4. How can one become disassociated from this Maya? 3.17. Fifth question. What is the true identity of Brahman? That is 3.34. Sixth question. What are the 3 types of karma, namely karma based on the enjoyment of the fruits of work, and karma offered to the Supreme Lord as Nishkamya karma? 3.41. 7. What are the various pastimes of the various incarnations of God? 4.1. 8. What is the aim or destination of one who is against the Supreme Lord and devoid of bhakti? In another words, a non devotee. 9. What are the what are the respective colors, forms, and names of the four Yuga avatars, the four incarnations of the Supreme Lord who appeared in the four ages, and what is the process of worshipping each of them? The transcendental answers to these inquiries were given by the great devotees Kavi, Havir, Antariksha, Prabhubhadda, Pipalayana, Avarothra, and Durumilina, Chashmasa, and Karanabhaja. These nine Paramahamsas answered in the nine questions, each in turns in the following verses. First question was answered 2.3343. Second question answered 2.4555. Third question 3.16, 3.3 to 3.16. Fourth question 3.18 to 3.33. Fifth question 3.35 to 3.40. Sixth question 3.43 to 3.55. Seventh question 4.2 to 4.23. Eighth question 2.18 to 2.18, 5.18. Ninth question 5.20 to 42. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshurulmitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhu vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So welcome everyone for this morning session Bhagavatam class. So in the 15th verse, the genealogical background of the sons of Rishabdeva is given in this verse. Swayambhu Manu has a son named Maharaj Priyavrata, and among Priyavrata's sons it was Angirada. From Angirada born Nabhi, and from whose son was Rishabdev. So one may be asking why we have to learn this and why we have to hear this, why it is there in Bhagavatam. Because if anything which is connected to Krishna, anything which connects to the Lord and his pastimes, one has to hear and one has to understand and one has to pay attention to that. Because the more we know about the Lord, the more one becomes enlightened. Just like people take pleasure in their telling their father's name, grandfather's name, grandfather's name. Why? Because they born in that lineage, they born in that family, and they take pleasure, and they uh, know take a great grandfather's name because they have done something which is nobody has done, and by taking their father's grandfather's name they get some kind of they get happiness because their father's name is glorified, their grandfather's name is glorified, and their forefather's name is glorified. Because only the thing is that attachment, right? And of course, we see that in when somebody might say that okay, what is there in this Krishna pastimes? Why we have to know? Because one thing, initially it may not be uh, initially it may not be the very we feel connection, or we feel some kind of pleasure taking their names, but internally it gets purified. For example, there are the names of Lord, many names of Lord. In Vishnu Sahasranama, there are 1,000 names of the Lord. But we may not be connected. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that we should not chant. Like Achyuta, Ananta, Vasudeva, Shankarshana, Pradyumna, Anuruddha. There are so many names. Like we may not be feel taking the pleasure for the name, but it has its own purification. Just like we were chanting Hare Krishna mantra every day. Is that is it purifying you? Means yes. At the same time, is it giving you ecstasy? Maybe. Sometimes. Sometimes may not. Sometimes it makes you sleep. Sometimes it makes you, lethargic. Sometimes it makes you, drowning. Sometimes it makes you inattentive. And sometimes it does, all the inoffensive chanting leads to the offensive stage. So that's the reason Swayambhu Manu, we have to know who is the generation, who is the Swayambhu Manu, who is Maharaj Priyavrata. And in that lineage, we have to know that Lord Rishabdev also came. So Lord Rishabdev is not an ordinary person, he is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And at the same time, in the 16th verse, he is an expansion of the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, and is incarnated in this world as propagate those religious principles that lead the living entity's ultimate liberation. He had 100 sons, all perfected in the Vedic knowledge. So one may be having the son, but he may not in perfect his own life. Here, all the sons, they born to perfect all the human beings. Just like if a son is not a son, if he not liberation, if he did not liberate his forefathers, correct? Guru na sasyat, janani na sasyat, pita na sasyat. In the Prahlad Maharaj, he says that if a son is not a son, a father is not a father, if he is not able to, deliver his sons, no. At the same time, if a son is not a son, if he couldn't able to deliver his father, Guru na sasyat, if a spiritual master is not a spiritual master when he is not able to deliver his disciples. That's why we have to be very careful enough, taking these responsibilities. In these responsibilities, of course, two things that are not in our control. We cannot choose our parents. Parents cannot choose us. Yeah. Parent cannot choose, oh, I want son like this, like this. No. We don't have choice. But at the same time, we have a option that we can give them Krishna consciousness as a children, or parents can give them Krishna consciousness to their children. It is up to them whether they take it or not. Just like a Maharaj Vena, he was so notorious son, and whereas Prahlad Maharaj, he was so much devotee. But he tried to preach his father, he didn't take it. But at the same time, here father is trying to preach his son, he didn't take it. That's the reason material world is. But here, 100 sons, all are perfected in the Vedic knowledge. People in the world, they pray for the son. People don't have. And when they get the son, they pray again, why we got like this son, or why we got this daughter. And if people don't have the sons or daughter, they pray for the children's. So this material world is one thing we have to understand. Dukhalayam ashashvatam. So whatever you may try to do your best, but the result will be bitter. One has to understand why this is happening, because Lord wants you to depend upon Him. rather than depend upon your society, community, family, children, because he is the true well-wisher. That's why in the we see, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate. So he says that Dinabandhu means he is a friend of the poor, not in material sense, in spiritual sense. One may be very rich and still he may be praying. You can see that many examples, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they are all ministers. They have so much money. They are not praying for the Krishna for money or material prospect. But one has to pray for the spiritual. And out of the 100 sons of Rishabdev, the eldest was Bharata and was completely devoted to Lord Narayana. It is because of Bharata's fame in this planet is now celebrated as Bharat Varsha. So Bharat Varsha doesn't mean only the India map. It means the planet. This entire planet is a one king. Now what happened? Each nation has one king. Not only each nation has one king, each state has one king. Not only each state has one king, each street has one king in India. See, so much division because of so much chaos. Because of there is no principle of Isha Vashamidam Sarvam. Lord is the supreme controller, supreme owner. That's why there's a fight between nations, state, person to person. So here the among the Rishabh 100 sons, all of them perfected their life, and one eldest one was named Bharata, and he's a very devotee of the Lord, and at the same time his planet is named as Bharatavarsha. And next thing is that he rejected this material world, considering all types of happiness, material pleasure, temporary and useless. Leaving this beautiful young wife and family, he worshipped Lord Hari by serving austerities and attained the abode of the Lord after 3 lifetimes. Okay, so until one realizes these material pleasures, happiness are temporary, they cannot take fully shelter of the Lord. To get that realization also, one has to be the mercy of the Lord. Because you see in the Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna surrendered unto the Lord with his tears in his eyes, then only Lord mercy has come. Unless until he surrender, unless until he realizes this is not going to be solved. The plan is that Krishna immediately says, Asochanva sochastvam prajna vajam sabhashase gatasuna gatasunsya nanu sochanti pandita. He says that you are talking like a scholar, at the same time you are fool, number one. But and Arjuna is completely surrendered after that. He says that I don't know what to Sishasteyam sadimam prapannam. So I don't know which direction should I go. But the people in this material world, they take the pleasure of sense gratification, they take the pleasure of material happiness, temporary happiness, because they don't realize the pain. Because unless until when you realize the pain, it is painful, then only you can give up sense gratification. If you don't realize this painful situation, you never give up. Correct? If you realize this material world is a dukhalayam, then only you take the pleasure in serving Krishna, serving Guru, serving Vaishnavas. But at the same time, if you don't realize this, you realize also need the mercy of the Lord. One he cannot easily realize. Of course, one is doing sense gratification. He may be taking pleasure. He may be enjoying during the sense gratification. But the end of the sense gratification, he is not satisfied. He wants it more. And he wants it something else. Where it can take him to higher pleasure. But here, Bharata Maharaj rejected everything temporarily, and at the same time, he also took birth as three life. One is as King Bharata, and he became attached to the deer, and then he took a form of a deer, and then he became a Paramahamsa devotee. And that is narration in the fifth canto. So these examples are given to understand us how much we have to be seriousness in our life. Even Bharat Maharaj, it's not like an ordinary person, ordinary sadhaka, 16 round chanter, or following for regulative principles. He is in bhava stage, the next to the prema. Almost he was there till prema, and with attachment to the deer, he has fallen. One may say, okay, he is getting attached to deer. In city, we don't have any deer. Why we will get attached? We don't have a deer, but Bharat Maharaj has only one deer. In people's life, there are many deers. You know, something dear to their property, somebody's dear to their home, somebody dear to their family, somebody dear to their wife, somebody dear to their husband, somebody dear to their children, somebody dear to the a girl or a boy. Different things that becomes dear. And if they don't have dear, that's their own body itself becomes dear. you know he was, when he was doing the deity worship, when he was chanting the holy name, he was always looking at the deer. He was never doing his you know deity worship or chanting or Vedic mantras, whatever he was doing, always looking at the deer. He was so attached. So that attachment leads to the deer body. Okay. One may think that we have so many attachments. Deer, there are one deer for Bharat Maharaj. There are many deers every day in our life. We may get attached to the garland. We may get attached to the something else. At least we may get attached to the if it's holy name, that is greater than. But we may get attached to the so many other things. Laptop, cell phones. Yeah. There's so many things we can get attached to that. While chanting, where is my phone? While reading, where is my phone? This is our dear. No. Everything has an repercussion. At least, when we are chanting, when we are reading, we have to keep some things detached, because Krishna has given independence to, you know, fall in his, continue to Krishna consciousness and come back to him. Okay, so he is such a Paramahamsa level. He has fallen, and to show us, to give us an example. And next lifetime, he was Paramahamsa. He was such a Paramahamsa that even family, he didn't get attached to his family members. He was doing everything quite opposite. Like usually, just like before, after using washroom, one has to take shower. He was taking shower before only, and after that. That means he has knowledge. And people, when they his own family members, they saw him, they thought that this is a useless person. We have to send him away because he is such a knowledgeable. He didn't even speak a single word when somebody is blaspheming, somebody is scolding, or somebody is putting. And up till the point, some tribals have caught him, and when he was put it on the offering for Kali, and it was they were about to chop. He didn't even say any single word, and he didn't even he was completely in conviction that the person who is killing me, in his heart there is Paramatma, and I am with or about to die. In my heart there is Paramatma. If Lord wants to kill, I don't have to protect. If Lord wants to protect, I don't have to do anything. So he has that conviction. When he got that conviction, immediately Mother Kali broke and he protected him. So that's the Paramahamsa stage. He was so conviction that, so that you can read in the fifth canto, which is very nice. And in the text 19, nine of the remaining sons Rishabdev became the rulers of the nine islands of the Bharatavarsha, and they are exercised completely sovereignty and this over this planet. 81 sons became twice born Brahmanas and helped initiate the Vedic path. So the other sons, they have you know completely perfected their life. And in this text 20 to 21, there were questions asked. Following nine questions were asked by the yogin, the saintly sons of Rishabdev. What is the highest good? What are the religious principles? And what are the external energy of Vishnu or Supreme Lord? How one can become disassociated from this Maya? So this is the perfect question, perfect answer. Srila Prabhupada book, we know that there is a book, perfect question, perfect answer. So one has to ask these kinds of question. When we ask this kind of a question, that will initiate the Krishna Katha. That will ask the person, force him to say about Krishna. Other than that, if we ask simply, oh, okay, do you know that thing happened? You know that so and so person did so and so. you know, do you know this is what this happened? So if we ask these questions, we will be in the that level platform. But when we want to rise above that level, we have to ask this question: what is the highest good? You know, what is the religious principle? Of course, we may know that what is religious principle and what is the highest good. One may say Krishna consciousness is the highest good, practicing Krishna consciousness is highest good. And what are the religious principles? And we may say that following the Bhagavad Dharma is religious principles. And uh, and the third thing is that we may ask this question: what is external energy of Lord Vishnu, Supreme Lord? We may say earth, water, ether, fire. These are all the energies. And how one can become disassociated from this Maya? This is the first question. This is the inquiry. Each one has different perspective. Because is there any person here that they did not experience Maya? Everybody experienced Maya. Correct. If I ask you how one can dissociate from this Maya, then that is a relevant question for the devotees. I may have one perspective. You may have one realization. You may have one realization. But when we inquire about from each other, Matchitta Matgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha, then what will happen? Krishna Katha will come. You may tell one thing, I may tell one thing. But it bases on the Shastras, of course. What is the true identity of Brahman? Okay. And what are the three types of karma, namely karma based on the enjoyment of fruitful works? This one we can ask. And what are the various pastimes and incarnation of God? This one we can ask. And what is the aim or destination? One who is against the Supreme Lord. This one we can ask. Out of 9 questions, devotees may know all, maybe all of them, but there are some questions which have different answers. Like what is person who is not following devotional service? What is his goal? What will be his goal? And when we ask these questions, what is happening is that we churn the Krishna Katha amongst each other. When we churn the Krishna Katha, then the relationship becomes happy. And when the relationship becomes happy, in future, what will happen? Then even if there is a misunderstanding, miscommunication, that will settle down. When that first thing is that relationship becomes stronger. When the relationship becomes stronger, faith in Krishna becomes stronger. In future, if there is miscommunication or misunderstanding, still we have faith on that person. This is the same principle instructed in Nectar of Instruction. You know what is that verse? Anybody remembers? You know, uh, first verse. This is a very very important verse, which is you know, huh? Yeah, six kinds of exchanges that we have to do with the devotees. You know what is that in the mind verse? Huh? ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति गुह्यमक्षाति पश्यति भुङ्क्ते पूजयति चैव sadvidam priti lakshanam. Okay, when you do that, dadati pratigruhnati, offering gifts, accepting gifts, revealing one's own mind in confidential, and exchange of gifts. When you do this, you will be able to easily overcome the anarthas, lust, greed, anger. But if you don't do this, what will happen? You will be living with the same anarthas. You will be chanting with the same. You will be following for regulative principle. You will be chanting the mantra, but it is just like a watering the bad weeds. You have Krishna prema seed, and also at the same time the weeds, the bhakti lata bija also grows. Other bija also grows simultaneously. Both will collapse in what point at one point of time. So one has to reveal his mind in confidentiality. Then only we can able to overcome these anarthas. Of course, we should not reveal to anybody and anyone. He may be putting our anarthas on social media, Facebook, Instagram. That we should not do. When we have a trust on somebody, and when you have the confidence and you believe in him, then only we can reveal. And that person should be also able to help you, not that you go and reveal your anarthas to the new bhakta or newcomer. What he will do? Okay, he may have a thing. Oh, these people are also doing this, why I should join? He may go. I mean, he may not take up the spiritual path seriously, or he may think that, oh, this is a common thing, we should also continue bhakti, we will also do this. He may take that process. And the main thing is that he lose the faith in Krishna consciousness. Now that's why one has to properly understand whom to reveal. So when we ask these kinds of question, then these inquiries leads to the closer to Krishna. You know, when we don't inquire these things, it will become far away from Krishna. If you want to protect yourself, you know, we have to approach a person where we have trust, where we believe in his thing. He may, after disclosing your mind, he may give certain kinds of instruction which may not be always you know uh, incline, or we may not be always favor to your nature, but still you have to follow those, because you are getting purified. When you are diseased, doctor may not be giving all the time the sweeter medicine. He may be giving bitter medicine, and he may be giving shots also. Oh, I don't want to take shots, I don't want to take bitter medicine. Then disease won't cure. But similarly, person who disclose your mind, he may not be giving all the time sweet instructions. Oh, you eat more gulab jamun. Oh, you sleep more. And whenever you get a chance, you read. He may not give these kinds of instruction. He may give instruction like, read Bhagavatam at least 3 hours. Read Bhagavad Gita at least one chapter a day. Or do uh, service, wash toilet every day. Something, these kind of instructions we have to, expect. But point I'm trying to say is that it may not be favor to your psychophysical nature. It may be always different. But is there, do you have a capacity to accept that? That you have to decide. Okay. So these questions are very, very important, and their answers are also given in the following verses, and we have to understand them. They are very, very, you know, fascinating, these answers. When King Nimi asked these questions to nine Yogendras, they are very, very enlightening. When you get a chance, please read it. So these are all the things that we have to understand in the scriptures of Bhagavatam, because they elevate us into the different level when you ask this question. And also the Brahmana, I know that he learned lesson from different things. He learned lesson from the earth, prostitute, you know, the Brahmana. Then those are all the very, very, sometimes when you're become less enthusiasm, when you have no enthusiasm, they read these questions. They are very, really, really benefiting you. They will enlighten you. One of the question that Brahmana asked from that, what is that Mother Earth teaching us? And Mother Earth teaches us how to be tolerant. We walk on the earth, we spit on the earth, we do all kind of things on the earth, but she's still tolerant. So that's the thing that he learned from Mother Earth. And what is the lesson that he learned from prostitute? Prostitute is never attached to the one person. If you give money, she will encourage you. And it is not that, oh, that particular date he has come, I will be attached. No. So that how we can get detached from ourselves. So there are many things. Uh, So I think they are very, very enlightening and enlivening these questions. It's 8:18. I'll stop here. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank
Hare
you so
Krishna.
much for your class. You were mentioning that sometimes when we are chanting, we have taste. It's sometimes we don't have taste. My question was that when we don't have taste, i- is it sometimes like Krishna takes away the taste so that we hanker more after him, or we don't have any connection with Krishna, and that's why the taste is not there? What is like how? What should a devotee do when they don't experience taste in chanting?
There are many things. Like few are first thing is that inattentiveness. First thing of chanting. When persons chants inattentive, the first, that means he will either he is not the mind is not getting absorbed because of yesterday's things that you have done. If you are not, for example, each day is preparation for chanting for the next day. If you read a particular pastime, it should or it will get absorbed. You know, and that's why reading is so important. And hearing is so important. When you are reading and hearing is not proper, chanting or it is like a mechanica. That's why we don't feel taste. When we read, for example, one chapter of Bhagavad Gita, next day you feel there is difference in chanting. You may not be experience the highest taste, that is, and above that, this is the first level, and second level is that sorry, this is a basic thing answer, and above that there is another level. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there is a verse What is your Anyabhilashita shunyam Gnana karmadi anavrutam Anukolena Krishna anusilanam Bhakti uttama. So Anyabhilashita shunyam Gnana karma. You know, when the bhakti is about jnana and karma. If you are expecting something from the bhakti, that becomes karma kandik. The karma kandik section, what they do, I do this particular activity so that expected results. You know, I do one sapphire sacrifice, I expect some results. That becomes karma kandi. Gnana kana. Gnana kandi means I do something so that I'll become knowledgeable, enlightened. So bhakti is about those two. One has to do his duty, that consider the dharma. When you do dharma, if you expect some result of dharma, then that becomes karmic reaction. When you expect something out of chanting, that will become karmic reaction. Okay, I expect 16, I chant 16 rounds and I should get taste. And that is equally karmic reaction, right? When this is not something which I am speculating, this is, even in Mahabharata, Yudhishthir Maharaj, we all know how much strict he is Dharma. He is incarnation of Yama Dharmaraj. Correct? So he is following so much Dharma, and even though he has sufferings, they were banned to forest, Draupadi was disrobed, all the bad things were happened. At one point Draupadi asked this question, hell with your Dharma, you are following so much Dharma, but there is no protection. At that context, but the Yudhishthira Maharaj says, when you are following dharma, you should follow the dharma for following dharma. Not if you follow dharma for expecting the result, then that is not dharma. That is kama. You work for 30 days and you expect salary, but at the same time, you are putting the same principle in Krishna consciousness. Okay, I chant 16 rounds, I get taste. It's like business. Prahlad Maharaj also says, when Prahlad Maharaj was asked, what boon you want, why do you think Prahlad Maharaj rejected? Because he does not want to have a business kind of relationship with the Lord. Another example, gopis of Vrindavan, they never expected out of Krishna anything. Of course, those are highest, but at the same time, we have to do what we have to do. What is there in our control? Chanting. Sometimes that is also not there. When you get a fever, you cannot chant. And what is there in our control? For example, today I will read one chapter of Bhagavad Gita, or I will hear 2 hours of lecture. At least that much we have adhikara. We cannot be reading Bhagavatam for 6 hours. You cannot be hearing lecture for 6 hours, 8 hours. Even though if you are free, even though you don't have any service, if you put in a room, like if you're given a Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all lectures, will you be hearing all the day? Because we don't have that much capacity. It is like overcharging a battery. You know, when you're done with that, automatically go to sleep. That's why minimum sadhana is required. When you do minimum sadhana, then what will happen is that you expect something. When you try to endeavor something, then Krishna reveals mercy. Just like when you are getting sleep, if you are trying to stop yourself, then Krishna appreciate that. When you are getting distraction in the mind, when you're trying to stop yourself, then that will get attraction of mercy. But the problem here is that we are not trying to stop them, we are aligning with them. you know because when you stop for a while, you will get ability to stop. Just like when you lift the weight, you are going to gym. First day you lift 5 lbs, next day you increase, keep on increase, then your capacity is increased. Similarly, when you stop doing sinful activities, when you hold yourself, then that will give you more strength to hold. But in the beginning only you give up, then there is no question of hold. Does that make sense? Seven.
Thank you for your class, Prabhuji. um, I was thinking to share in the Bhagavatam 1:1:8. It speaks about the secret to success in spiritual life is in pleasing the spiritual master, thereby getting his sincere blessings. So a lot of times a person may try to, just forget that simple point. It's like if we please the spiritual master, we can get his blessings to be able to overcome a lot of things that are, so hard.
Yeah, thus pleasing the spiritual master is a very, very good thing. But at the same time, spiritual master also gives you instructions which always may not be pleasing to you. He may give instructions, even though if it is with difficulty, we have to follow the path. Then only that instructions, what spiritual master has given, when you execute, then only mercy comes. No. Spiritual master doesn't say you don't chant 16 rounds. He will not say. Spiritual master does say don't follow four regulative principles. He will not say. Okay. So spiritual master gives you instructions. When you follow those instructions, then only it is easy way to please the Krishna. That we have to understand. And the spiritual master is always gives you the certain kinds of instructions where you may not feel always joyful. He knows exact medicine. Medicine is always not a sweet. Sometimes medicine is bitter also. Alright, Prasya. Prabhu, he has question.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Nice.
Hare Krishna.
About this discussion, I think why we are not getting the test of chanting is that first we have to understand that we are in a disease condition.
Correct.
See, if somebody has a jaundice,
Uh,
then even if somebody gives him
Sugar cane.
sugar cane juice, you still feel bitter.
Right.
When the disease is cured, then only he get the taste of the sugar cane. Similarly, when we understand that we are in disease condition,
Right.
it will take some time to get taste. Number two, Prabhupada always gives that if you plant a seed and the next day you're expecting a fruit or a flower, it's not going to happen. Similarly, this chanting is going to take some time to
Yes.
get taste. So we have to be patient.
Correct.
First, you have to understand, first, you have a faith that this is a process
Correct.
to cure our disease of taste and also the disease of birth and death.
Right.
See, you always forget that we are in a material world where the death is chasing us all the time.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And then to get out of it, this is the only process.
Correct.
Whether I like it or I don't like it. My purpose is to get out of this thing. So that makes us determine somehow or other, let me keep on chanting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
Just Srila Prabhupada has so many times said, even though it is for a jaundice patient, it is very, very not, palatable, but still he has to keep taking it without, giving. Otherwise, it's not that if you stop taking, the disease will go down. It will keep going up, jaundice. With you should never point that you should stop doing that. Keep on taking. But at the same time, we have to understand that faith of this chanting will lead to the perfection. Faith is very, very important. All right. Thank you for the comment. Thank you, Gandharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.